Okay, so sorry. I've got a broken foot. I've got a torn ligament in my knee, and that was my doctor who I need information from for somebody else. And anyway, so, oh, you know what? Might as well throw down like everybody else is about this whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Wow, are we such pansies that there's never a cause for violence? It's like, are you kidding? I'd have probably popped him myself, but if my partner wanted to pop him too, fine. And then people trying to make it a race issue, I'm sorry, that never crossed my mind. I just saw a husband seeing his wife made fun of, and no, she didn't need protecting. If anything, I would say, the only argument I would have was, hey, if she wants to pop him, let her. But I also, me and my partner, we're in tandem, so in support for each other, and making fun of someone's alopecia is pretty fucking low. So yeah, I vote. Good job, Will. I'm glad you popped him. I'm glad you did it on national TV. And you know what? Sometimes in this society, violence, and I'm pretty much a bleeding heart liberal. I'm just saying, violence, if it's never the way, why do we go to war? Why do we have these giant arsenals of things? If violence doesn't accomplish anything, why do we use violence to accomplish things? So errant violence, yes, there shouldn't be that. Violence for no reason, violence against others, violence against sovereign nations, violence against other human beings. But if I want to pop somebody, and I actually have had a habit in the past of any guy that would like pinch my ass in a bar and stuff, and being a musician, being in bars several nights a week for decades of my life, that stuff happens. And I just got used to just spinning and backhanding them often onto a ground or over a table, and then I turn around and I go about my way. And if anybody's got a problem with that, again, maybe I shouldn't be the coach for you, because in general, I'm not a violent person. But if you put your hands on my body or say or assault verbally somebody I care about in a way that is uncalled for, then I do feel justified in smacking your ass. That's all I'm saying. That being said, I would never hurt or spank a child. I don't believe in domestic violence or anything like that, obviously. But an exceptional case where Chris Rock stood in front of the entire world and made a remark that if he doesn't understand that that was bitter, emotionally mean, then he should. And it's shameful that he's selling out. If anybody should be canceled, it should be Chris Rock for letting it come out of his unscripted mouth. So, fuck what people think. That's my opinion. I also am a proponent of proper gun ownership and usage. As a bleeding heart liberal, I also will not ever allow a government to take away my right to defend myself. That being said, obviously there should be limits. Obviously, there should be background checks and mental health checks and such. And corruption needs to be kept out of that. So that's all very tricky, difficult stuff that's being out there argued, and that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about manifestation today. And that is because it keeps coming up with people I talk to, because I've been doing a great deal of work with manifestation. And they're like, what is that? And people seem to think it's some kind of a really trippy thing, or a spiritual thing, or a faith thing, or a belief thing. And it's like, while faith and belief do come into play, it is in no way anything less than solid science. Okay, so let me give you the solid science of manifestation and why you, as a CSA survivor, need to decide what it is you want and then only accept that in your life. And like we were talking about yesterday, this is the Ask for What You Want week. And this also is going to jump into the S, the last S, which is spirit. the last S in my spades. S, the shame is not yours. P, separate the past from the present. A, ask for what you want. Don't just take what's given. That's where we are this week. E, or D, don't just take don't wait to feel okay to be okay. E, educate and advocate. And the last S is spirit. So today we're going to stick with and be heading towards the end of asking for what you want on all of that. It's many levels. And hopefully by tomorrow, it'll just kind of be comfortable, easy practice for you, because by listening and educating yourself on what elements compose asking for what you want, because there's a lot of different things to it. Once you think about them, though, you don't really have to think about them anymore. It just all makes sense. Now you know something new, and you can incorporate it into your daily life. And that's the easy thing about my Spades program, is it's very incorporatable. Is that a word? Very easy. I do not believe in programs like 12-step programs for two reasons. One, that's too many steps. That's daunting. 12 steps. I'm like, seriously? I don't have that much mental capacity to try to like lock my head around 12 steps, And that's a long way to fall. It's just too much to think about. Okay, I've just simplified a trigger list. The other thing I don't like about 12-step programs, and especially AA, is if it works for you, fine. Don't listen to what I have to say. This is an opinion piece, okay? Like I said, I am not a doctor. I just play one on TV. I'm a CSA survivor, and these are the things I found work for me, and I'm writing this book, and I've started working with people, and mostly I'm just trying to raise money for Sweet Survivor. So please just leave money, leave a gift, and so we can buy tickets to get people out of trouble, all right? But if you can learn something as a survivor or a partner to make your life better, welcome. So manifesting what you want is the final stage of asking for what you want. We started the week with how asking is about remembering that the shame is not yours, remembering that you have the right to ask. And then we talked Tuesday, I think you're all through, about how once you get that firmly under your belt, then asking for what you want becomes a matter of identifying what you want, and in so doing, who to ask from. So then we talked a lot about partners, and that even goes for employers and things. It's harder to pick your employer, but you can sure as hell pick your partner. At least I pray to God you're somebody who can. Actually, women in most of the world cannot, or much of the world at least, and are marginalized in other ways in almost all of the world. So when I talk to you, we are very lucky that we even have the opportunity to make choices. Being raped and sold and traded for a cow in like Maasai culture, they have daughters and trade them for farm animals, and the women are glad they have sister wives. I talked all about this in a live stream. I don't want to reiterate it all, but the woman that was married at 14 to an older man basically cried and cried the whole way to being sexually assaulted, what they call married now, and just being happy when a sister wife came, and talking in terms of, oh yeah, it's great when we had a third sister wife come, because now like I'm not alone in the woods all by myself being raped by this older man, which is not the way she looked at it. She looked at it as the way life is, because that's her culture. And people are going to tell you all day long, you have to respect people's culture. And I get this from women, and I get this when I get on like Reddit and Quora to see what the general population is thinking. And I'm always mortified, because I think everybody should think like me, obviously. And being very self-centered, absolutely I am. That's what we talked about yesterday. You need to be self-centered too, because you as a survivor are so used to just trying to make other people happy, trying to fit in, trying to belong, trying to make sure nobody can tell or see, trying to cover your C-PTSD events and move on without ever thinking about why they happen and making them stop, which we talked about at length yesterday. So I'll try not to reiterate a lot about that either. But moving on, once you get all that in your mind and understood, now what you've got to think about is okay, I'm asking for what I want, but how do I make damn sure I get it? How do I make damn sure I'm at least heading in the right direction? And that's where manifesting comes in, and why it's not a spiritual thing. It is the way the world works. Energy transfers, and that's not a hippie thing either. We all know everything is energy. Energy transfers. Light, sound, everything. Matter itself. It's nothing but vibrating quarks of smaller than that. Now, energy. It's amazing. The world is fascinating. And the fact that we exist at all is fascinating. So I'm not going to get hung up on the fact that as a CSA survivor, I mean, I did get hung up on it for a couple decades, but I am no longer going to get hung up on the fact that I don't feel like I fit in and I'm not good enough, because I constantly stopped myself from succeeding. You know, I'm always like on the edge and doing the best I can. And I'm like the straight A student and involved in everything and trying to do stuff, but I still never feel like I'm getting there. And I never like just went out for exactly what I really wanted. I kind of accepted things the way they were. That person in the middle I'm telling you not to be. You know, I was her, because that's a natural stage out of I'm just pissed and angry and hurt and emotionally messed up, and I don't even know how messed up I am, and I don't even know that I lack the ability to have intimacy because I've never been there. You know, this is a big one. I'm going to reiterate again. That's an entendre. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, never having the people who were not sexually assaulted made a choice to have sex, to be physically intimate with someone. And that is like mind-blowing to me, to think that the first time that someone had sex, think how different it would be. It's hard to imagine. Hard to imagine what feelings a person must have to decide, I really want to touch you. I really want to do this. You know, okay, I really want to let your body part inside my body part or whatever. That's a big deal, or it should be. But to CSA survivors, it was made to be such a small deal. To us, it was like huge, but then nobody talks about it. We have to hide it. It's all shameful. We try not to think about it. We swallow it. We shove it down. We take this into our partnerships and our marriages, and we don't look for intimacy, and we don't even know we're missing it. But that's a thing that I'm still working on. I've just realized all this and talked to my therapist about it, and I'm writing it out right now for my book. What's the best approach to teaching people, not intimate tricks. This isn't a sex help show, although, I mean, it is, but only in the sense that you have to be able to truly want to be in the situation you're in. And if you don't, then you're playing a part and it's not going to be fulfilling. And worst case scenario, actually most likely scenario for most CSA survivors that I talk to, unless they're at the end that I'm at, when you're at the place I'm at, where we're educating and advocating and we're outwardly talking about it and we're like done with that. But you know, the only way we're done with it is by never being done with it, by always trying to make it better for somebody else. When you get to that stage, life becomes very good. And now you turn your attention away from yourself and onto manifesting. Now you've got your C-PTSD under control. Mine's under control. It starts to come over me. And like I've been teaching for the last 2 weeks, I've learned how to recognize it and stop it. So go back and look at the ones, recognize it and stop it. Because I cut shorts out of these and post them as out of these lives, because I know these go away and you can't post them. I do put them on YouTube, though. The channel is the same name if you want to see or share this whole thing with somebody who could use it. Okay. So, moving on to the final stage of asking for what you want is getting what you want. And so you have to manifest. And so we're going to define that. So we're back to the top. So we're going to define manifest. Manifesting is the process of applying belief as a technique, not as a religion, not as a, someone says, this is the way it is and you need to believe this. And you say, I don't know, where'd you get that information? And they say, it doesn't matter. You need to believe it because you believe, and that's how we believe in our family or group or whatever. And you're like, okay, there's that kind of, I'm a Catholic, I'm Jewish. My dad was a Methodist minister, actually. Just saying everyone's got their thing that they kind of identify with. And you're taught, you tend to think of belief as believing in something that you really aren't sure if you believe in, but you're told you're supposed to believe in. So throw that idea out now. See what it is. Throw that out in regards to manifestation and beliefs. Because you have to believe in getting what you want, making what you want happen, whether it's your education or whether it's your divorce or you're finding a better job or just learning how to have orgasms finally, just whatever it is for you. Belief is a process, not an esoteric thing, not a rule. It's a process. So if you use the process of believing in yourself, believing in what you want, then you won't see or do the things that don't fit that picture. So when they say you're manifesting reality, all you're really doing, a better way I think to put that is rejecting things you don't want in your reality. So all that's left in your picture is somebody you get along with, true intimacy. My partner, I finally am with somebody that, this is probably what it would have been like for someone who wasn't assaulted and actually had sex when they wanted to for the first time. Now it's like, it was his scent, just there's like a pheromone thing around him. It's not a smell, it's a thing, and I never ever noticed that around anybody before. So once I put myself, preparation meets luck and all, once I worked on myself and got to the point that I was open enough to see that there was such a thing as intimacy on a level I didn't understand, and then once I learned to trust and not lump everybody into just a piece of shit with a penis, sorry, but and I learned that, and I mean it completely now. I love lots of people with penises, including my 3 sons and my father, who's deceased. But I don't care what's in your pants. I don't care what your gender is. And everything I say is not man, woman, woman, man. It's all partner, partner. So I tend to use the word partner because I don't give a goddamn what's in your partner's pants or yours, okay? So you do you. And just make sure that you focus on actually not just thinking about what you want and that you don't have it. I'm getting a lot of this, I got to say, from Abraham Hicks. Listen to Abraham Hicks meditations if you want to. I really get a lot out of Esther Hicks is her name, and she says she's channeling the collective consciousness of, okay, this sounds really weird. It's not as weird as it sounds. But the part of it that is absolute, everybody talking on the subject can agree to, is that to manifest what you want just means keeping the picture, keeping your eye on the prize, Dad would have called it, or Grandpa or whatever. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't look at that. Don't say, okay, that looks like, that pays more. I want this job, but that pays more. My son, for example, he's 17. He just got his first job. He turned down a job making $12.50 an hour. And it's 15 in the state, but not if you're under 18. So he turned down a job making $12.50 an hour to take a job making $10.25 an hour because he's working with his best friend at a place he likes better. That is believing in yourself enough to know that the end game is more important than the initial carrot, right? So when you're reaching for a carrot, make sure it's dangling in the direction you want to go. Otherwise, you're reaching for a carrot and you're walking the wrong way. point your cart at what you want and go. And call it belief. Believe in yourself. So believing in yourself is an act. It's not a thing. It's not a rule book. It's an act. And if you don't believe in yourself, then, I mean, duh, what's going to happen? So you stop short, you fail, you don't. I didn't believe in myself, but I didn't realize I wasn't believing in myself. I was just kind of going with the, okay, I'm going to go. I always worked really hard at what I worked at, but my end goal kept shifting. And part of that's 3 children and no child support. So I will give myself a pass too. I've busted my ass. But when it comes to things like relationships, I wasn't trying to manifest a situation where the person was everything I wanted them to be. I was trying to manifest a situation where I was everything the person wanted to be. And the thing is, if you start the other way around and you make sure they are everything you want in a person, in a human, in a partner, then it's not selfish. You naturally are then going to, if you like them that much and they still like you, now you're on to something real. But you've got to move past, to ask for what you want and get it, you've got to move past that point of trying to please somebody else. I mean, I'm not saying go tell your boss to fuck off. You know, there are parameters, there are degrees. We edge in directions. Just because you're not where you want to go now doesn't mean you just throw it all away and lose your home and your life and whatever. It means you make a logical plan. You think about it and you reason where you want to go. And then you believe in yourself enough by just saying, I am going to reject things that don't fit this because this is what I really want. Okay, so pretty bauble? No. Bye. Nope. You know, shiny thing? Nope. I'm going this way. So just keep your eye on the ball. But don't keep your nose on the grindstone. Life is supposed to be fun. I work hard. I work hard. I pretty much work while I'm awake. I'm not making any money right now because I broke my foot, and I actually have a day job driving a school bus part-time that I just started in January because they have a great need, and I used to do it years ago for a while. And I was like, well, I'll do that while I get my store back off the ground, right? So feelgoodfairtrade.com. We've never closed through the pandemic, but you guys kind of abandoned us for a while, and I understand. It was toilet paper and freaking paper towels and hand sanitizer, and then it was trying to get everybody's lives back together. But if you have a gift to buy, we have reasonable prices. We ship in 3 to 5 days, and we is me and my son John and his friend Maddie, my pseudo daughter. I have 3 sons and 2 kind of daughters. Well, one I consider a total daughter, my partner's daughter. That's a new-ish relationship, and super thrilled. And then Maddie is also like a daughter to me, and she and John, my son, who is graduating the middle of May, and immediately starting on his master's. The guy takes 20 hours a semester. Works his butt off. You wouldn't believe his workload today, but he's also brilliantly talented and will be taking over the advertising marketing for feelgoodfairtrade.com. I want you to go buy something because I buy from women artisans, and the money goes to them. We pre-buy. We're not ordering it after you buy it. We buy it and trust you're going to love it. And we keep it in warehouses in America. One warehouse in America. And we ship it to you really fast. Almost as fast as Amazon. 3 to 5. It's not 1 to 3, but 3 to 5 is pretty darn good. You got to admit. And the other reason that I am going to stay with this and try to get in front of people, besides just helping women artisans to put their daughters in school and get their sons and daughters and everyone food and vaccinations, and just to rise in their community, to own their own businesses. Some of them are being rescued from sex work, given an alternative. Some of our Indonesian artists are learning a trade and being given an alternative to the streets in impoverished communities. If you can't get behind that, you probably shouldn't be watching me at all, because that is all my life is about. My children, my partner, and helping other women and others and men and humans to survive the world in a better way. Okay? So, off of that soapbox and back to this week is asking for what you want, not just taking what is given. And if what is given is shitty, that's easier to do. But if what is given is comfortable, there's a song I wrote where I'm talking about just this dilemma, really. I was actually stuck on the Illinois River Bridge between Illinois and St. Louis, and in traffic, and I am bridge scared anyway. I'm infrastructure scared. And I was before they started falling down so readily. And I was just thinking about how I'm in the middle of all these people, all this humanity, all these cars. I can't get out. I'm stuck. Until everybody moves, I can't move. This is where I'm at. I put myself here, and I can't get out. And I basically wrote the song kind of to save my sanity, because I was stuck on a bridge having a freak out. It's like, right down the middle, I'm cruising right down the middle of humanity. They're wrapping soft, warm blankets around my identity, losing my self-respect, working to climb that money tree. I'm cruising right down the middle, doom, 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 right down the middle. Anyway, that's actually on my CD at lindagifford.com. I've been a musician for like ever. I've been in a band since I was 12. You don't want to know how old I am now. I'm at that I'm glad I'm still alive stage. I'm at that I can't wait to get older because it's too late to die young stage of life. And I, for God's sake, am now on the track to get what I want. And I did it by rejecting things. I've done it by getting impoverished. I've done it by refusing to go back into a job I don't want. I've done it by giving away or selling almost everything I own so that I can leave town and move to my partner's easily without having to mess with stuff. He's got a house too, and I'm not attached to stuff. I was already giving things away for the last several years, and I recommend this to you. Lighten your load. Part of moving on and getting what you want is letting go. Like I had all these pretties, vases and things. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. And then I was like, okay, it's cool, but why do I need it to sit here cool? Why do I need to dust it cool? Why do I need to wrap it and move it cool so that I can unwrap it and set it somewhere and dust it? And I decided like 2 or 3 moves ago. So for the past probably 10 years, I have been letting go. And certainly since my oldest and second oldest, who are 24 and 25, when they left home for college, it's like, okay, too much stuff. I got rid of the entertainment center. I got big wooden shelves. I got rid of those. I started just looking around. I got rid of all the dressers and I got shelving, the kind of wire shelving you can get at Target, like vinyl coated wire. And you can set it up and put it down. As my partner put it, I could pretty much move all of my things in the size of a mattress stacked now. And I'm pretty excited about letting go, because letting go of these things opens the door for me to create the life that I want. And these things were keeping me comfortable in the life that I have, and I'm not knocking it. It's been great. I love my kids. I loved raising them. I'm still raising them. But now is a new chapter for me. And that could be frightening to a person, and it can be frightening to a survivor to change dramatically. We kind of like safety and security. But I'm recommending, as part of your manifesting, that you look through your wardrobe, you look through your things, and just, what don't you need? Lighten your load and look towards what you want, and start rejecting. If there's a person I'm rejecting right now, a person that's been a friend off and on, and then every time I get close, I feel I get burned again, and I'm just like, it's emotionally tearing, and I feel guilty because I do care and I do love her, but I can't take the emotional pain of the crazy. And it is a mental thing, health thing, but I'm the partner, like when I tell partners, you don't have to stay. It can be too much for a CSA survivor's partner to deal with that particular survivor's. Just something might mesh the way they handle things. They may not ever have the same feelings. A common partner reaction to finding out that their partner was violated is that now they change sex. Now they like cut out the kink, and they cut out any more aggressive moves and things, that not realizing that by doing so, rather than by treating their partner with kid gloves, now they're emphasizing there's something wrong with their partner, when their partner was trying to heal from all of that and probably enjoyed all of that kink and more aggressive stuff too, just as much as they did. These are things that come up in conversations I have with people. Been online. I started this during a pandemic, and I'm now ready to go out into the world, and I'm going to start speaking. I don't know where, but I'm going to start speaking. I have been asked. I guess I'm doing a podcast, but I don't have the details, so I'll tell you about that later. Wait, I got to get this down. Just realized my hair's been up all day. Whew, okay. Anyway, so we're going to move on next week to the D. Don't wait to feel okay to be okay. And I just want to touch on that. We're still with asking for what you want and manifesting. Oh, wait, I forgot faith. So I talked about belief. Let's go back. You don't have to believe in something. What you need to believe in is belief. You follow? You need to believe in belief. You need to believe in the power of your belief in something to make it so. And no, you're not going to twitch your nose. You're not going to suddenly get powers of crazy. You have the power to head in the right direction. So when you can't see the whole path, which is normal, you just put your foot in the next right place. You just take the next right step. We get hung up analyzing 3, 4, 5, 10 steps out. Okay, if I'm going to get here, then, okay, if I do this, but then this might happen. What if I get to here and then there, and then I take that step, and then I get, no, that may not, maybe I should go this way, because if I go this way, it's going to lead to that and that, Throw all that out. You've got 2 steps in front of you. You've got 2 feet, you got 2 steps. Make it a mental thing. When you are faced with choices, do it like the eye exam. Right? First, you're going to get it down to 2, right? And then you're going to take one and you're not going to look back. You're going to take one, you're going to commit to it, you're going to believe it in. And by believing in it, you're going to make something good happen that leads to the next right step. And every next right step will get you to the place you can't see. But it's right because every step was right. Get it? Manifest reality by believing in belief. I just made myself cry. I do that a lot. I guess I'm becoming an inspirational speaker. That should be a word. That's not bad. My dad, I was thinking of my dad. My dad was a Methodist minister and a wood carver and a counselor and a principal, and he had master's degrees in theology, ancient history, and psychology. Never a dull conversation in my home growing up. The only thing really terrible with my father was when he found out what had happened to me and that I hadn't told as a child, and that all that had been going on under his nose. That wrecked him. Don't wreck your people, and be honest. I married and divorced 3 times and never told any of them what happened to me. That didn't set the stage for things to be great, because I've talked about all of it. I'll encapsulate bullet point the 3 relationship issues that stem from me not telling the truth. Because I didn't tell them, I was sexually groomed and assaulted for several years of my adolescence and teens, and suffered great guilt and shame and C-PTSD from it. Because I didn't tell them that, My first husband had a habit of calling me little girl. Now, he would baby talk to the point that his own band members used to call him La La. They'd say La La Larry and make fun of him. It was cute, the little baby talk. But the thing is, it moved into the bedroom, and he would call me little girl. And I didn't realize I did. Okay, it's hard to explain. Looking back now, I realize that is what was upsetting to me. At the time, I didn't have the skills to understand exactly what was upsetting me, but I knew that I felt like I was in a child, and like I felt like a child with him. Having sex with him, I felt like a child and like I was being violated. And he's a wonderful person, and he didn't deserve that. That being said, I've mentioned it before. There's no need to tell your partner the play-by-play. They don't need that. They don't need to know every single disgusting thing that ever happened to you. What they do need to know is the gist of the matter, so that they can factor it in. And if you do have C-PTSD experiences, I talked more at length about this. Go back to like yesterday if you want to hear more about this. But establish like a code word. Code, that's the word I couldn't think of yesterday. Oh, I said a keyword. A code, like a word that says, hey, just give me a moment. And it's not a freak out. It's not a runaway, whatever. But if your partner is the kind of person that can't handle the knowledge, then that's not the right partner for you. Not everybody can be a CSA survivor's partner. And that doesn't make you bad or wrong or difficult. It means some people haven't come to the level of awareness that they even... some people will think your body's ruined because it was raped, I saw a thing that it disgusted me, but a husband saying he didn't want to have sex with his wife after she was raped. Through no fault of her own, but he just couldn't do it anymore because she'd been violated like that, and now she was ruined. And that is just so sad and sickening. That's what we were scared of. That's why we didn't tell, because we knew we were ruined. We were taught that we were ruined so young. So as soon as we're ruined, then we can't tell. Then we're like shameful and guilty and ruined, pretending to be not ruined. Now we're lying. And all of that's in our head, and it would have just like been something that if we could nip it in the bud, and if we were open with our children, and that goes with trans issues too. This whole don't say gay matter is just disgusting, pathetic. We need to open the lines of communication with our children, not close them. My kids, they didn't have to have the graphic play-by-play, but they understood the nature of sex, how I feel about it, that it makes people, that it's really awesome and it makes people, and it can give you diseases you have forever that you're going to have to explain and to whoever your new people are if you don't make it with that person. And if you do have a child with that person, make sure that you want to give them 20-25% of your income for at least the next 18, probably 21, 2 years. If all that sounds good to you and you still feel like having sex, then have it. So yes, I put the fear of God, hopefully, into my children, but only in a realistic sense. I was straight up with them, and I think my mother was a leading example. One time she found my nephew in the yard with his pants down, playing with his stuff. And my mom said, I won't say his name because to protect the innocent now that he's grown up. But my mom said, so-and-so, that's not something that we do outside. We do that inside when we're by ourselves. It was like, that was so hip of my mother to like, put your pants on. It wasn't like, stop it, don't do that. She's like, oh, jacking off, are ya? Yeah, well, we don't do that in front of people. We do that inside alone. So my parents were great. What happened to me was a product of society. And that's why I'm all over educating and advocating in society now, the E in spades, for that reason, to help others, and also for the selfish reason of it makes me feel better. Being a CSA survivor is something that we do every day. There's no graduation date. So by continuing to expound upon and feel like I'm helping somebody else and get it out there, this is therapy. And I also have a therapist. And I recommend that you have a therapist if you feel the need to really you know, I am going to go on and start coaching for real. I coach, I mean, not that's not for real. I don't charge. I'm just talking with people and coaching. But I've decided that I think this is my life's calling. And I do have to keep a roof over my head. So I am going to open up to coaching, and really, really interested in speaking. In my book, I'm pretty excited because my manuscript will definitively be finished by the end of April, May, when it's supposed to be. And I need another $5,000. So I need some gifts so that we can get on the promotional aspect of this. So live gifts, welcome and appreciated, for my book, Self-Talk, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Assault. And you can read the first 7 chapters pinned to the top of my Facebook page by the same name, Linda K. Survives. I changed it. My son said be Linda K. Survived. I was just Linda K. Gifford. And he's like, be Linda K. Survives, because I just started TikTok May 1st, and my 25-year-old son knows a lot more about these things than I do. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, no, I tell y'all the truth, which is that you're never going to be over it, but you're going to be able to like not consider it a huge problem. It's just going to be knowledge. Your CSA, the fact that you're a CSA survivor can become knowledge that you seldom have to really deal with in anything other than a literary way. You can start removing the emotion from it, and you can take it out of your relationship. You can manifest a better life that includes honesty. But you'll find that when you're honest about it, it doesn't become the center of everything. It's the center of everything now. Because when you're not honest, and when you don't do the therapy to get it, these memories, these jumbled things that cause your C-PTSD to rear its head when you get taken over by memories and sights and smells and sounds. Once you commit to doing the simple act of thinking about it and then writing something on paper, words, draw something, paint something, whatever, gets a physical manifestation, because what that does is it makes the left brain is going to you're taking all this emotion and you're transferring it onto the paper. Think of it like a satellite, and the paper's the satellite, and it's going to beam it back, right, into the left side. Now you've got a memory. You've created a memory on paper, and now you take that and you file it, and the next time you start to have C-PTSD take you over, you feel it coming on and you go, oh, I feel it coming on. I'm having a C-PTSD event because I'm a CSA survivor, because this thing happened to me, but I don't want to go crazy because that's not productive. So I'm just going to let the emotions settle and move on. And there you go. So no, you're never going to forget. Though why would you want to even? If you forgot, you wouldn't be able to change things for somebody else. And we do have a huge problem in our society, in every society. We have a problem in a society where dressing little toddlers in clothes that if they were on a grown woman would be considered sexy, and then calling them cute when they're on a little kid, and then expecting men to not have any kind of association with sex and little kids. We are creating the problem too. And women who call their men daddy and don't think anything of it, who fuck somebody they call daddy. Husbands, like I was starting to say, my first husband, I didn't bullet point, I stopped there and tangented. He would call me little girl, and I just finally cracked. I really left him right after he gave me a sexy teddy and baby talked to me in bed, and I wasn't even mad at him because I knew he had no clue, but I felt so much like I was being raped, but it felt like a traumatic experience. I didn't have the words for it then. I was creating another traumatic experience without giving it the words. So when I say that, I wasn't laying in bed with him going, oh, I'm being raped. I feel like I'm being raped. It's retrospect that lets me realize, oh, that's what that feeling was. That's why I hated it, the baby talk. And there's also the after the fact, later on, when I was in counseling and therapy and regressed into I actually don't remember what happened. I remember waking up from it though, and I had met little girl, and she brought her out with me. And little girl was the name I am giving to, so I guess I can credit my first husband with that. I'm sorry, because he's really a nice guy. Again, that's the point. Words are said in innocence, but they create real harm. Just saying childhood sexual abuse is harmful to, I think, because assault is assault, and calling it abuse makes it seem like it's not such a big deal. It's just kind of bad. But when you're being raped as a child, you're being assaulted, and that's bad, really bad. So use a really bad word, assault. Okay? I've used this analogy before, but if someone like walked up and slapped you in the face with a penis right now, or anything else, would you give, or a penis, let's keep it a penis, would you call it face abuse, or would you call it face assault, right? So when they stick it in somebody, that's assault, and you need to use proper words, and you need to stop referring to sex acts as happening with somebody that is a parent. That's just gross. Daddy, mama, come here, mama. It's like, I guess I can even maybe see mama if you have children together. I don't know, even then, I don't know. It's just all weird to me. So that's my own weirdness. Everybody can think on that. I'm being interested in someone else's opinions on that too. But we'll talk about that later. Just remember that you don't have to believe in anything but belief. That belief in and of itself is a thing. And by using the power of belief, not in something, but the processes that belief entails, by believing in going the direction you want to go and having what you want to have, you will eliminate those other things. So when you're manifesting reality, if that sounds too hippie for you, think of it like this. You're really just taking the whole picture of every option available, and you're eliminating the things that don't turn you on. Physically, in a partner, emotionally, in a friend, whatever, in a job. Start rejecting the things, flip them out of your picture, right? And what you're left with is the manifestation of what you want, because you've rejected everything else. And this is what I mean when I say, instead of trying not to dissociate, which is all that the literature says now, and I've talked about this with my therapist, and she thinks we're onto something here, and I'm really excited to be writing about it in the book. I want to teach people to take this dissociation, but just think of it differently. Since you are so good at dissociating into these people that can handle stuff and playing roles that tend to get you doing what I said earlier, trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, turn it on its head. Disassociate the things you don't want, the people you don't want, the stuff you don't want. Cut it off. You're good at cutting things off and forgetting all about it. I am. I have cut off friendships and relationships and never looked back. I cut off a 14-year sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, relationship. In never another word, never another text, never talk to him again. I'm just like, I can dissociate all to hell for my own good. And I recommend you do the same. So stop kicking your own ass. Realize the shame is not yours. Do separate the past from the present by examining what causes your CPTSD, examining, instead of swallowing and pushing your memories into your gut, in a peaceful, quiet, safe place. Think about them. Draw it, write it, get it down, put it into your memory. Now file that shit away. The next time you need to deal with it, just deal with it in a thoughtful way instead of an emotional overload way. And then you move on to asking for what you want. And that's where we manifest and we work on our beliefs and believing, not our beliefs, we work on belief in ourselves and rejecting others and things that we don't want in our life. And now we've got a picture that's what we want, that we're creating, and it's getting better all the time, because the more we do that, the more perfect that picture gets, right? Educate and advocate. Nope, I skipped. Don't wait to feel okay to be okay. Don't wait to feel okay to be okay. We're going to talk about all next week, and that is about why you need to stop thinking that when I'm better, then I will fill in the blank. You're going to do it now. You're going to go for what you want now. You're not going to focus on, I have to do this, I have to be this, I have to hit this milestone, I have to be better, I have to be cured. It's like, you don't. You're fine. You're a normal CSA survivor. You're figuring it out, and you start to go get what you want now. Okay? Now, today. Go manifest. Think, what do you want? What do you want? I'm thinking about what I want. I've got some difficult days ahead. I do right now, but they're all heading in the direction of what I want. And so I am willing to, essentially, if I was on a raft that was my life, it just got flipped. But the thing is, I flipped it. Okay, breaking my foot didn't help. But I'm flipping it anyway because I'm just flipping it a little sooner. Because I want to manifest this new reality anyway. The one where I'm living with my partner, the one where we're creating life together, the one where my Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund is growing into something that really, really provides relief and rescue to people that need it, to get them where they need to go. Because we've got hotlines and we've got safety centers and places for victims to go. But they've got to get there. So help me out, please. Please leave gifts for the Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund. I will have a subscription business up. I swear to God by Monday. I swear to God by Monday I will have the subscription. SweetSurvivor.com is almost launched. I thought it would be up this week, but everything takes longer than I think it will, especially because I do it myself. So take care. I'm going to go. I've got stuff to sell, and I need to get on it because with me broken foot, that's how I'm keeping a roof over right now. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we will wrap up on manifestation and talk intensively more about faith, but not in a creepy spiritual, well, not spiritual, religious, not a creepy religious way, not even in a spiritual way. Just like we talked about belief today, faith is also a thing. It's a thing. It's a tool. It's a tool. Bye. God is a river. Faith is a tool.